Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized, so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 300 programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
This is VEASAN at the Track, the road to Kentucky Derby. Now here's your...
Good afternoon. Welcome into VEASAN, the Sports Betting Network. I'm Grace Remington alongside Will Hill. Hope you are having a lovely weekend. And if you are hanging out with us here at VEASAN, it's about to get even better. Busy day of sports ahead. We have 15 baseball games to get to, 2 NBA playoff games, 2 NHL playoff games, the third round of the Truist Championship. We're going to get to all of it. First, a check-in on the NBA game going on right now. Celtics leading 24-12 with a little over 3 minutes left in the first quarter. I'll get your thoughts in just a minute, but I do want to get some of these early baseball games in here because they're about to throw first pitch in about 5-10 minutes. So we're going to start in Atlanta, where the Braves are a minus 154 favorite on the money line against the Pirates. Pitt is plus 130 with a total of 9. Do you like anything in this game?
Grace, what's going on? I'm checking to make sure my line is still good here, and it has moved a little bit. I did play under 5. I think I laid minus 125 in the first 5 innings. Yeah, just looking at one book, but it's been widely available pretty much most of the morning. And if you shop around, I'm sure I have to pay a little juice, but I do like the under 5. I don't know if I'd play it at 4.5, but I like really to fade both of these offenses because Atlanta has had an up and down season. They have not swung the bats great. Bailey Falter, of all people, shut them down on Friday night when I was against them. Smith Shorver here for the Braves has been pretty good coming off a career start. Now, is that a flash in the pan? Is that something he can sustain? We'll see. He had been really good all season, like unsustainably good, and we're seeing the unsustainable part of that come through. He got hammered the last 2 times out. So to me, it's just a play on the number. I think that we'll get a low-scoring start. I get the sense that you're on the opposite side, but not really because you like the full game. And just to me, with these first, if I like the under, I'm only going to play the first 5. The Ghost Runner to me makes it such a stay away for the full game under. So I am going first 5 under here. What's your handicap here on this game?
Well, that's a great point about the Ghost Under. But yeah, we are a little bit on opposite sides here. I bet the over 8.5 last night. The total looks like it's at 9 at most places right now. You're fading the offenses. I'm fading the pitchers. AJ Smith-Shawver, in his 5 starts, it looks like he's due for some negative regression. He has a 3.0 ERA, but a 5.31 expected ERA and a FIP and XFIP hanging out around 4. So typically when you see a big discrepancy like that in the actual versus expected metrics, it means the pitcher has gotten a little bit lucky, and the actual results will start to show that soon. Andrew Heaney, a lefty going for the Pirates today. He's also due a little bit of negative regression, though not as much. He has a 3.18 ERA, but a 3.86 expected ERA and a 3.8 FIP. And I was looking at his good starts versus bad starts because it's not consistent. His good starts have come against the Marlins, Nats, and Angels. And then there was a good start against the Yankees, so give him credit for that. The bad starts, in which he gave up 4 earned runs or more, came against the Reds, Cubs, and Padres, all high-scoring offenses. And obviously the Braves are not the Braves we know them to be, but I do think the potential for scoring is always there for them. So I took the over 8.5. One other thing I want to point out is the weather. The hitters are getting a huge weather boost today because the temperature is increasing 15 degrees day over day. So it means the ball's going to be moving a little less out of the pitcher's glove off the mound. And then if it's hit in the air, it's going to be traveling further. So that game's about to start any minute now. We'll see how that one goes. Another game about to start is the Cardinals at the Nationals. This one's pretty close, according to the market. The Cards -115 on the money line, Washington -105. Do you have a bet in this one?
I like over 9 here, and I don't play too many overs. Again, it's the opposite. When I like the under, I'll play the first 5. When I like the over, I'll play the full game just because, you know what, I could have the wrong handicap on this. It's 2-2, it's 3-3. We had the extra innings, and then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose, and you get a bunch of crazy runs in the 10th and beyond. I just don't love either pitcher. Trevor Williams, Palante, both put the ball in play, both a lot of hard contact. Like you said, good weather pretty much, I think, around the country for the ball to be carrying, traveling here. So I do like the over. I will get on my soapbox here for 1 second. It is 4:05 in the East Coast. It's baseball season. It's a beautiful Saturday. It's the middle of May. How are there no early games? I appreciate it from our standpoint because we get to talk about all these games from a live standpoint. But 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I'm looking for a game to watch, to bet something. The fact that nothing starts until 4:05, 4:10 to me is just crazy. They don't do the best job, promoting their sport, getting people to watch. But that being said, I am on the over. Is this a game you looked at or had any thoughts on?
You are fully allowed to stand up there on your soapbox because as I was going through the schedule yesterday, I was actually shocked to see everything starting at 4 o'clock. I grew up on the East Coast, so I'm actually an East Coaster like you. I'm from the D.C. area, and I grew up going to Nats games in that 1 o'clock slate. So I was like, what? Like, what happened that I was not aware of this change? But I don't have a bet on this game specifically. I do lean the Nats. I don't like either starting pitcher, but I was looking at the underlying metrics of Trevor Williams, and in this specific matchup, he is notably better than Andre Palante, so that's why I gave the edge to the Nats here. But I don't feel super passionate about it. One other early game that just began, I do want to get in here, is the Yankees at the A's. I did actually play a half unit on this. The A's plus 135. I think Carlos Rodon is probably getting I think the Yankees are getting a boost, maybe just because of the name value of Rodon. Yeah. And JP Sears historically isn't that great, but you look at his stats this year, a 2.93 ERA. He's not as good as that ERA shows. He has a 3.23 expected and a 3.41 FIP, but those are still like good numbers. They're not bad. So he has a walk rate of less than 4%, which is crazy. A low barrel rate. The velo on his fastball is higher. His sweeper has a 176 expected weighted on base average. So in today's matchup, I think he's the better pitcher. So I was a little bit surprised to see the A's at such a nice price. So I guess it's top of the first, 1 out. Hold on. Let me pull up the live stats here because maybe it's not showing for me. But maybe if
as you're looking that up, I like Rodon. I think he's shown some promising things here. As long as he can, as long as he can avoid the blow-ups, avoid the walks and the homers. The walks really get to him. Remember, it was 2-3 years ago for the Giants. He had a really good year. You're starting to see that form from him. So when I looked at the matchup, I thought maybe I'd be on the Yankees, but I think you said it well. There's just a tax that usually comes to play with the Yankees. A tax now with maybe Rodon with his recent form. And, they buried the A's last night. He scored a bunch of those runs late. Dominguez hit 3 homers, including a late grand slam. So it'd be Yankees or nothing for me, but nothing I bet. And it's just that's a high price to pay, I think, here for Rodon.
Yeah, the risk for him has always been his fastball, but he actually has decreased the usage on it in years past, he threw it 50 to 60% of the time. This year, he's throwing it closer to 40%. So that's a pretty big decrease. And yet, it's still his most risky pitch. It has a 301 weighted on base average, but the expected is 358. And just for those who don't know, the average should be 320. So that's not a good pitch. Let's get back to basketball. Is that cool with you, Will?
Yeah.
Because I did want to get your
Knicks,
thoughts on that.
I guess you could say have them right where they want them because they're down big early. So this is Knicks are following the script here. I would say the Celtics are off to a good start, but these good starts have not really mattered or manifested. So you want this. If you're Boston, you'd rather be up 13 than down 13. But we've seen this story before with Boston where the big leads are not being held here by the Celtics.
Yeah, I know we've been talking about the historical comebacks these Knicks have pulled off in back-to-back games, coming back from 20-point deficit in the playoffs. Never been done before. But I also, do the Celtics deserve any credit for at least building a 20-point lead? Like, is that out of the question? They just can't close. But hey, if they can just hang on after building these leads. But looking at the live number here, it looks like they're anywhere from a 10.5 to a 14.5 point favorite. Going into this one, I was actually curious about the first half spread. I ended up not playing it, but the Celtics first half spread -3.5. I found an interesting record, and this is very, very specific. Higher seeded favorites on a 2-game losing streak in the playoffs on the road are 32, 19, and 3 against the spread in the first half. That's a 63% cover rate. So it's actually a decent sample size for being such a specific trend. But the key there is desperation, obviously. And right now, looks like that first half, you'll get a cover.
And this is very similar. Both situations, Cavs-Pacers last night. Cavs down 0-2 on the road. Absolutely needed to save their season, and they jumped out on Indy. They were up 15 before you could blink. Now, Indy actually rallied and tied it at the end of the first quarter, but Cleveland dominated from that point forward. So Boston following the same script. I know we're up against it here, the final minute. Who did you think was winning this series coming into this game? Were you of the belief that Boston was going to win today, get back on track, and rally to win the series, or not necessarily?
I mean, I didn't see many people picking the Knicks to win the series, did you? I just kind of go with the crowd. I'll be honest with you. I go with what the experts say. We got a lot of those experts on VSiN.com, so I just go with them. But Boston was such a big favorite. I was like, sure, why not? But I was pleasantly surprised to see the grit and fight that have come out of the Knicks. Me, as a casual basketball fan, I would much rather have upsets and surprises and a closer series. So this has been super fun. But that first quarter about to close out, Boston leading 34-20. We'll be following this game throughout the next 2.5 hours of the show. We are just getting started here on Live Bet Saturday. Coming up next, we'll get into more baseball. This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back into Live Bet Saturday here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Will Hill, I'm Grace Remington, coming to you from Connecticut and Music City, USA. But we are covering all sports across the United States today. A really busy sports day, really a fun day here in May. Giving you some updated scores here from the Diamond. Actually, no scores to report at the moment. Lots of zeros on the board, which is a little surprising because there's kind of a heat wave crossing the country today. Kind of expected a weather boost for these hitters. It's only the first inning in a lot of these games. Braves, Pirates, Cardinals, Nats, Yankees, Athletics, Brewers, and Rays in a short rain delay. But Will, any thoughts on these baseball games you want to get out there while maybe the lines haven't changed too much?
No, and I think we're through one here in Pittsburgh. So Atlanta-Pittsburgh, I think, is scoreless here through the first. This is it's one of those things when you have an under, it's not a fun watch. You're just counting down the outs. You can never really relax because there's no clock in baseball. You're just hoping that these innings are nice and boring, nice and quick. I know you're the opposite side with the over. So if we can get just like a 1-1, 2-2 through 5, you know what? Then I'll start pulling for your over. But until then, I got to root for my under. You do have a leadoff man on second here in the A's-Yankees game, though. So that is looking up for you.
Yes, I am with the underdog in that Yankees-A's game, as I said in the previous block. I just think there's a little bit too much name value on Carlos Rodon and the Yankees here. You got two southpaws going at it today, but JP Sears, you look at his underlying metrics, I think he's the better pitcher in this one, and the market just hasn't quite caught up to him yet. So I bet the A's plus 135. As Will alluded to, we are on slightly opposite sides in the Braves-Pirates. I took the full game over 8.5. It closed at 9, so it did move my way, although the live number now is 8, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, hey, if we can get, I know you want it to be like 2-1 in that first 5. What if we just, you had the under 5, or was it under 5.5?
Yeah,
Can I get 5 runs in that first 5? Okay.
I can't do that for you.
All right, so
no,
we're rooting for.
I can't
no,
do that
you
for
can't. It's a little too close. All right. Well, there's still a way we can both win our bets here. But the second quarter, going to the NBA now, the second quarter of Boston Knicks has tipped off. Celtics building their way to that 20-point lead, 38-20, with about 11 minutes to go here. Did you have any wagers coming into this game, Will?
I like the Knicks. I like the Knicks. I thought that their home court getting 5.5, and this closed at 6. I thought that, Boston had some real issues. The end of the game, I know that there was some 3-point positive regression coming, and it certainly has. I saw they hit the first 6 out of 7 from 3, which, you know what? Sometimes we can sit here and we can handicap these games all we want, and the matchups and this and that. It comes down to something that's very simple. Does the ball go in from 3 or does it not? And it's not always the easiest thing to predict. I know they're good shooters and they shot poorly, so it's bound to correct. So maybe I should have seen this coming. But Celtics with a comfortable lead. I did take the Knicks plus 5.5, and 6 of 8 now from 3, and the Knicks are 1 of 7. So there you go. Right there is your game. The Knicks have not shot the 3 well, as they miss another one now, 1 of 8. So we'll see if the Knicks can do it one more time. I didn't think that the Celtics would blow game 1 when they're up 20. I didn't think they'd blow game 2. So I don't think they're going to blow this lead up 16. But at some point here, you have to just stop thinking and think, you know what, maybe this is in their DNA with the Celtics. So the Celtics in good shape. That being said, with their propensity, their habit here of blowing leads, would you take a shot on the Knicks plus 700 on the money line that history repeats itself?
Oh, shoot. That's a good idea. Yeah, maybe I would. I don't know if I would with my own money. That could be fun. You mentioned the negative regression. That's why I was not ready to count Boston out of this, because they went 25 of 100 from the 3-point line in these first 2 games after shooting almost 37% in the regular season. There's just no way. I mean, when you live or die by the 3, when this is the DNA of your team, you're not going to stay down for that long. So like they're now 6 of 9 from deep. But you know what? Like, props to the Knicks. They never give up. They always put up a fight. So I don't know. I do feel like anything can happen at this point. Right now, the score is 38-23 with Boston a live 14.5-point favorite. Actually, what I thought was interesting, Will, was this total, because it seemed like it completely overcorrected from the previous 2 games. Game 1 opened 218.5. Game 2 opened 7 points lower at 211.5. And then game 3 opened 7 points lower at 204.5. And I believe it did close at 208. So like we did see some buyback, but I thought, adjusting the line that far just because of some uncharacteristic shooting performances, that didn't make any sense to me. And right now the live number is, I'm seeing a 209, 210.5. But did that stand out to you like it did to me?
Yeah, and again, it just comes down to the shooting, because the Knicks didn't shoot the ball well either. So, it's, our buddy Gil Alexander, who hosts a numbers game on VSiN every morning, says it, and other people say it too. It's, if you can show me who's going to shoot well from 3 and who's not, I can tell you a lot about the game. It's not always easy to predict. You figure over the long haul that these things are going to normalize, and Boston, who's a good shooting team, will continue to shoot the 3 well. But there's, Porzingis dealing with this weird illness, and he's actually playing, but who knows what's going on with him? I guess it's not COVID, and we don't know what it is. Strange situation. Jaylen Brown has been banged up at the end of the year. Tatum is dealing with a wrist injury. So is it just bad luck that they're missing? Is it the Knicks defense? Is it injuries? Is it some combination of the three? That I'm not sure. I do see, curious what you think. I see all of these celebrities here. We've got John Hamm. We've got Aubrey Plaza, Sting. It is a who's who here. Who is, of all these people, CeCe Sabathia, Eli Manning, where would you want to sit among all of these celebrities?
Wait, hold up. I got to pull up this list you said. Is Aubrey Plaza, is she the one in Parks and Rec? She is, isn't she? Oh my gosh, I would love to sit with her. Are you kidding me? She's hilarious. And she doesn't even try. And it feels like her real life personality is the same as her TV character, which is just fantastic. But I see Bad Bunny. Honestly, Bad Bunny is probably my first pick. I used to be well, I guess I still am. Bad Bunny is how I learned Spanish. Fun fact. I would just listen to his songs and read the lyrics as I was listening and would say it out loud. But eventually, his lyrics got a little too dirty even for Spanish. And some of it, I'm telling you, it's a little much. So I've tapered off my Bad Bunny music, but I still think he's such a cool person in terms of his influence in fashion and all that. But who would you hang out with at this game?
Your Aubrey Plaza answer is, I think, a very good one. And I'm going to go a little off the board here. Steve Sharippa from The Sopranos. I was a big Sopranos fan. He's probably got some good Sopranos stories. He's, I know, big into food and cooking, so I could probably get some cooking tips for him. So a lot to choose from. But my first two picks would be Aubrey Plaza and Steve Sharippa.
Looks like Eli Manning is there. Michael Strahan, CeCe Sabathia, Timothy Chalamet is there. Okay, I'm really bad with pop culture. I'll just give you that warning right now. So I only just found out who he was less than a year ago, but I really like him. So, and he's got a great stash going. So he could be interesting to talk to as well. By the way, we do have a run scored in this Braves Pirates game. I got the notification from my little bets tracker app, but it's not showing up on my, live scores here. It's 1-0 Atlanta. So, hey, both of our bets still alive here. But that total, man,
1-0
it's
Atlanta.
7.5.
Yankees did get out of the inning in the first, so we go to the second there, 0-0. And we are still scoreless in Washington and St. Louis, although it looks like St. Louis is threatening here in the top of the second.
All right. All good stuff. By the way, you can get bets all day long, every day of the week over at VSiN.com. And how do you get those bets? You got to be a VSiN Pro member. Right now we're running a deal for a limited time. We're cutting the price of the annual subscription. It's normally $240. Now it is just $199. And if you sign up today, you can get 2 months free. So now you're getting 14 months of VSiN Pro for just $199. You have to use the promo code PRO, that's PRO, and you'll get daily best bets from VSiN hosts and gets. You'll get the exclusive splits from DraftKings and Circa. That is super helpful. If you don't know which way to go, just follow the money. The betting splits will tell you where the sharp money is going. You'll also get 24/7 access to our live video and full show replays on the VSiN Watch app. Plus, you'll get all of our special edition betting guides. Those are well worth the price of admission. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe right now. Use the promo code PRO, that's PRO, to lock in 14 months of VSiN Pro for just $199. That's VSIN.com/subscribe with the promo code PRO. All right, coming up next, we are heading to the ice. Rachel Dory of ESPN and Betalytics joining us to give us her best bets for round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs, and she is an absolute pro. Can't wait to hear from her. This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back into Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. I'm Grace Remington, live from Nashville, joined by Will Hill, live from the East Coast. And now I'm really excited to welcome into the show Rachel Dory, hockey writer for ESPN and the CTO of Betalytics, joining us with her bets for the Stanley Cup playoffs. Rachel, thanks so much for joining us. Happy Saturday. This is the best time of the year for you as a big hockey fan, and can't wait to hear your thoughts on today's game. So let's start with the early game. Capitals at the Hurricanes. The Canes, a huge favorite here, minus 250 on the money line. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, you know what? I think this line is probably where it needs to be. This series is 1-1. Carolina has certainly been the better team in both games. Now, a lot of prognosticators had the Capitals kind of favored, but then when you actually see them stylistically go up against each other, it really does favor Carolina, who is a volume shot team. And so some of the stuff I'm looking at today, Logan Stankoven, who plays for Carolina, over 1.5 shots. He's hit that line in like 18 of his last 20 games. So that's a great one. We've got him projected to go over. And then because I mentioned the shot volume, Logan Thompson, who's the goaltender for the Washington Capitals, over on saves. In games 1 and 2, we've hit the over, and in game 1, we cashed a full-blown ladder all the way up to plus 250. I believe his line's 26.5 right now. Carolina at home, traditionally, they shoot the puck a ton. I would expect that they're going to have 33 to 34 shots, which means Thompson, if the Capitals have any chance tonight, is going to have to make 31 or 32 saves. I would personally stay away from the money line just because I think that's way too much juice, and I'd focus more on the player props.
Rachel, the Oilers are up 2-0. They're home. They're going for the kill. They are minus 120, slight favorites with a total of 6.5. Anything you're looking at in this game?
Yeah, absolutely. So Stuart Skinner is going to start tonight. Calvin Pickard's day-to-day with an injury, and that's a big thing because Stuart Skinner's saving less than 80% of the shots he's facing in the playoffs, and that is not going to help anybody. And in tonight's game, we have projected at Betalytics 6.9 total goals with an over of 6.5 or total of 6.5. So there is certainly value on the over there. I like taking Vegas. I do not think Vegas is losing 3 in a row. I think they're going to do everything they can to get traffic to the net, to bother Stuart Skinner. So to me, I look at this and I'll take Vegas money line at minus 104. And then instead of over 6.5, take over 5.5 at minus 205. You combine them, you're still going to get plus money in a parlay. I like attacking it that way. And then a lot of these guys in both games today have juiced point props. So I'm going to combine. I'm going to take Sebastian Aho from Carolina and Mark Stone from Vegas to each combine for a point. That should get you to plus 102. So you're getting some good plus money there. But because this is going to be a high-scoring game, you have to target the Edmonton Oilers' big guns. So Connor McDavid for 2+ points at minus 105 makes a ton of sense. And then Leon Draisaitl, who has also been a consistent 2-point per game player in the playoffs, but taking him for a goal at plus 105 makes a ton of sense. And so does taking Shea Theodore, the Vegas defenseman, for 2+ shots. He's hit that line really consistently in his last 20 games, and the Oilers are giving up a ton from the point. So I look at this. I think this is going to be the most entertaining game of the day. I mean, of course, there's only 2, but Vegas is going to come out flying, and the fact that Stuart Skinner hasn't played a game in almost 2 weeks, and the last time he played a game, he got run out of the net. I mean, I think you kind of have to take Vegas here for so many narrative reasons, but also just so many eyeball reasons that you look at how Stuart Skinner plays and you go, I don't know if I can trust that guy yet. So that's kind of how I would play that game tonight.
Okay, love that angle. I want to get your early thoughts on Sunday's games too. So Jets Stars series tied up at 1 apiece. The early action not too noticeable, but it is moving Dallas's way. They are a minus 147 money line favorite. You have any early wagers on this one?
Yeah, I mashed the Dallas Stars when that original line came out at minus 130. Connor Hellebuck plays goal for the Winnipeg Jets, and Connor Hellebuck at home versus Connor Hellebuck on the road is like Jekyll and Hyde. And when I mean Jekyll and Hyde, I mean he saves less than 70% of the shots on the road so far in the playoffs this year, which is astonishing. That is like putting an 18-year-old in net who's never played above the junior hockey level. Like I don't know what happens to him. It's crazy. And Dallas is an unbelievable team at home. The thing I would be careful with when it pertains to Dallas is this. Mikko Rantanen's he's been the guy in the playoffs. He's leading the Conn Smythe Trophy race, as he should be. He has like 14 points, which is crazy. But the thing is a lot of the other Dallas Stars have kind of looked like they've said, okay, Mikko's going to do it, so we don't really have to do anything. We're just going to be passengers. Well, Mikko Rantanen didn't score in Game 2, and the Dallas Stars look like a completely different hockey team. And so I do think they're going to pull up their socks. I also think the angle of Connor Hellebuyck playing on the road is a big one here. He's been pulled in his last 3 road starts in the playoffs. I can't even remember a time where that happened prior to any goalie. And Connor Hellebuyck's really struggled in the playoffs. He was excellent in Game 2, and a lot of people think he's back. I don't think he's, quote, back until he gets a strong road performance. I don't see that coming in Dallas, so I would jump all over Dallas. I'd jump on Thomas Harley 2+ shots. I'd think about taking them in regulation too, because you're probably getting that at plus money. Until Connor Hellebuyck shows me that he can perform in the road, and Dallas being a really good home team, I'm going to have to side with Dallas, especially because the juice is not really even there.
How about Maple Leafs Panthers? The Maple Leafs had a chance to really land the knockout blow Friday night. They were up 2-0. They tied it late to get to overtime. They weren't able to finish. Now it's 2-1. Now we have a series. Panthers are pretty big, -180, -185 favorites here in Game 4. Any bets, any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so this is the series I pay the closest attention to. If it wasn't obvious for those of you watching, I am a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. I'm from the city, so I kind of had a gut call Game 3. And as much as the model at Betalytics said there's value at taking Toronto on the money line, there was just absolutely no way they were beating Florida twice in a row. There was no way. You know that hockey team. The thing I like about this series, though, is there's been a ton of scoring. And so it's hard to say because the Leafs do look different this year. They do not look like the team of years past where they were going to fold like a cheap tent and kind of go away. And like you said, they nearly took a 3-0 lead. William Nylander had a breakaway in overtime. Matthew Knies had a breakaway in overtime. They were the better team for the majority of the game on Friday night. And so I look at this and I go, I think the Leafs are going to come back. They're going to bounce back. I think Joseph Woll's kind of finding his groove in the series, which is really important because of the lack of Anthony Stolarz. And so I would attack this game. I would take the over here, over 6.5. Bobrovsky, I'm not going to say he's turned into a full-blown pumpkin, but the clock seems to be on the second or third chime at midnight here, and that's not a good sign for the Florida Panthers. And given the team's kind of playing a back-and-forth style, I do really like the over 6.5 here. And because of that, a William Nylander point, a Sasha Barkov point, a Mitch Marner point, and Austin Matthews point. All these guys are a point per game or better, and they're the guys that are really bringing it. And one thing that I think everyone should probably be aware of is Matthew Knies is scoring 0.8 goals per game when he plays the Florida Panthers. He's like around plus 220 to score a goal. That is always a good bet for me. Anytime a guy is 80% at doing anything at plus money, I'm taking that no matter what. I'm not saying you should lay a mortgage on it, but $10 is probably a good idea there. So that's how I would attack that game. I'd probably stay away from the money line. If anything, I'd bet on the game to go to overtime again because of how evenly matched these two teams are.
Rachel, last time we talked, I think it was Monday or Tuesday in the wee hours of the morning. I'm not a morning person, so I almost wasn't sure if I heard you right, but you had the exacta of the Panthers and the Stars, and yet you're such a passionate Leafs fan. I thought, no way she's betting against her team. Was that just kind of like a hedge of your fandom where it's like, hey, Leafs win, I win as a fan, Panthers win, my wallet wins. But how do you feel about the exacta now that the Leafs are leading the series?
I wouldn't say it's an emotional hedge, although it certainly works out to be one. Like I was doing that in round 1 where it was like the Leafs went up 3-0 and I was like, there is no chance of a sweep. This series is going at least 6 games. They're going to lose 2 straight. And it did go to 6. Like the thing about the Leafs is no team collapses like the Leafs they have in the past. So from an exacta standpoint, I still believe in Florida. I definitely still believe in Dallas. The Leafs are putting up a great fight, and I will say this. There will be 0 complaints from me if the Leafs win this series, because that would mean that the Leafs get their first conference final since I turned 10 years old. And as somebody who's been dying for that forever, I would not complain about losing $100 on an exacta bet if my team somehow made it to the conference and or Stanley Cup finals. So I still like that exacta bet, but yeah, there's probably a little bit of an emotional hedge in there.
You certainly deserve the Leafs going far, so I'll be rooting for you. Rachel Dory of ESPN and Betalytics, thanks so much. More golf, baseball, and NBA next.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Live Bet Saturday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Welcome back into Live Bet Saturday. I'm Grace Remington with Will Hill, and this is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, keeping you updated on all the live games today. We got the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs. We have the third round of the Truist Championship, lots of baseball. So let me give you a quick update on golf right now. Keith Mitchell entered the day as the solo leader. Right now, he is third. Shane Lowry leads the board at 14 under. He's a stroke ahead of Sepp Straka. Then it's Mitchell, 2 strokes back of the lead at 12 under. Justin Thomas and Hideki Matsuyama tied for fourth at 10 under. Shane Lowry entered the day as a plus 330 favorite to win. He is now plus 130. And it's been quite the interesting tournament. We entered the tournament. Everyone was a rookie to this course, the Philadelphia Cricket Club, which, by the way, apparently has never had cricket fields or cricket pitches. I don't know what you're supposed to call it. It's the oldest country club in America, and yet the name makes no sense. Although they do have pickleball courts, so they are up with the times. But these golfers, they came into this tournament as rookies, and they have played in all conditions. It was a perfect day on Thursday. It was rainy on Friday. We have had gusts of 15 to 20 mile an hour winds today. Who knows what we'll get tomorrow? But it's been an interesting one, to say the least. The fairways moving just as fast as the greens, it seems like. And those greens, we've seen a lot of 3 putts too, which is interesting. There's a little par 3, the 14th hole, that's 120 yards, I believe. And yet it's seen way too many 3 putts. So it's kind of a tricky course. But as we follow it along right now, Shane Lowry in the solo lead, now a 2-stroke lead, as Sepp Straka just finished with a bogey on the 12th hole. So we'll be following that tournament with you. Let's get back to the NBA, where we have reached halftime between the Celtics and the Knicks. The C's with a 71-46 lead, so we have advanced past 20-point leads. Do we feel any safer about this one, Will?
I think so. I want to say, I mean, they're up 25 points. They should be okay. In a normal basketball situation, this is usually a good thing to be up by 25 points. And you would think Lightning strikes once, Lightning strikes twice. What are the chances the Lightning's going to strike a third time? And this is not 20, this is 25. So I think the Celtics are okay. And if you're going to be optimistic about the Celtics for whatever reason, and they're a strange team, these meltdowns for them, and they had a couple of them against Miami a couple years ago. They've had a number of these. They tend to come at home for whatever reason. I think maybe they just lose focus. The fact that they're on the road, hostile environment, maybe that allows them to focus, keep the foot on the gas. So I do think the Celtics are fine here to win the game. I'm not sure I'd lay the 20.5 live. So you're getting 4.5 in the second half. That, I'd probably just take the points if anything. But again, this is a game where I had the Knicks coming in. It's been a strange playoffs with home court just not mattering. We saw the Cavs and the Pacers where the home team is 0-3. The home team is about to be 0-3 in this series. It's just been a very strange scenario. So it was presumed that we're looking at a Cavs-Celtics Eastern Conference Finals pretty much the whole season. Looked a day or two ago like neither of them are going to make it. Now maybe I guess we're back on track, and that's going to be the conference finals again. I'm not counting anything. The series isn't over. But if the Celtics are able to win this game and get it to 2-1, you feel like they're back on track and in good shape, even though the Knicks do still have home court. So I still have to go. The second half line, you're getting 4.5 here with the Celtics. I would take it before I would lay it. What you have any feel for this one or no?
So you would take the second half. Wait, that's not showing up for me. But it's Celtics minus 4.5 in the second half.
Celtics plus 4.5 in the second half. So the second half line, Celtics plus 4.5, total 101.5. Even if you want to take Celtics on the money line for the second half, plus 154, which is not unusual. The team that's getting buried, they expect some regression. They expect to come back, take the foot off the gas, that kind of thing. So, famous last words. I would take the Celtics plus 4.5 in the second half. I do think you blow one, you blow two. They would have to have a better focus here, third quarter, fourth quarter going forward.
Right.
I could pull up a third quarter line too because that is offered. Celtics plus 0.5 point in the third quarter, total 52.5. It'd be Celtics or nothing.
Yeah. So I did find a few records that, should say the Celtics hang on for the win here. Under Joe Mazzulla, they are 9-4 straight up and against the spread off a loss. They are 23-10 straight up and against the spread off a loss since the 2019 season. And then coming off back-to-back losses under Mazzulla, they are 14-4 straight up. That's a lot. That's a lot of opportunities. Oh, that must be including regular season too, not just playoffs. 14-4 straight up, 13-4-1 against the spread. Meanwhile, the Knicks under Tom Thibodeau, 23-40 straight up as home underdogs. And certainly looks like they will add one to the L column there. But we shall see. Hey, if we are in for another collapse, that would be pretty epic if we were live for that. But I do want to get to the second NBA the game of the day today. We have the T-Wolves, a 5.5-point favorite at the Warriors. Speaking of low totals, 200.5. That just feels so low for any NBA game. But do you have any pregame leans or thoughts on this one?
Warriors team total under 97.5. I just don't think without Curry they can score. They're a pretty good defensive team, and without Curry, that maybe even helps their defense. I just think they scored 93 points the other night. A lot of that was in garbage time because they were down big, and they got big nights from Kuminga. They got big nights from Trace Jackson Davis. Again, a lot of it in garbage time. Those two guys combined for 14 to 17. You're probably not getting that again. And that's still, they still came up short of the mark they need to get to tonight. I just think they're so offensively challenged without Curry. Curry, it's not just the shot making, which is obviously brilliant. It's the attention that he creates. It's, you got to double him, whether he has the ball or not. You got to just have eyes on him, have hands on him at all times. Now when he's off the court, the defense can just take a deep breath and put that attention elsewhere. I think it's a bad recipe for Golden State. I guess they have a chance here. I mean, they do have a chance here to get one of these at home and make it 2-2. And then hopefully from their standpoint, Curry comes back, maybe game 5, maybe game 6. And you just obviously need to win the games to win the series, but you need to win the games to buy time for Curry to come back. I'm not sure. I'm not sure they're winning another one here. I think Minnesota +5, +2. Minnesota in 5. So Minnesota to win the series in 5 games at like +210 is very possible here. I think it's going to be hard for Golden State to win. Look, they're home. They got Butler. They've got a great coach. They've got great championship pedigree. All of those prefaces, I get that. I just think it's going to be hard for them here without Curry.
Right. He should, or he could be back if there were to be a game 6. So Warriors, all they really need to do is just hang on for one more win to get to that game 6 and then possibly force a game 7 and win it. You mentioned Kuminga. I looked into him because it did seem like Steve Kerr was just kind of throwing random lineups at Minnesota. For example, Kuminga went from 0 minutes to 26 minutes. And so I was looking at his PRA. And I think the under 20.5 might be the spot here. Of course, he's coming off a big game in game 2, 18 points, 5 rebounds, and an assist, which comes out to 24 PRA. But I feel like this could be a sell high spot for him. In the last 30 games, He played minutes in 17 of those and went over this line only 5 times. When you're looking at his, records in these props, it is a little bit hard to find consistency because he is in and out of the rotation. But what I found in the regular season is every time he had a breakout performance, and I'm just calling that 20-plus PRA, the line moved above 20 in his next game, and he always went under it. And this recently just happened in the Rockets series. He had a 16 PRA performance against the Rockets. His PRA line moved up to 21.5, and he went under it the next game. So it feels like the market is always giving him a little bit too much credit. So I think the under 20.5 PRA for Kuminga could be worth a look. Do you have any thoughts on that? I don't know if you're into player props, Will.
Yeah, no, I think it's sound reasoning. It's just from a bigger picture standpoint. It's too bad because this was looking like a good series, a series that Golden State could have very easily won. They were up 1-0 when Curry got hurt. They regained or they took control of home court advantage. I know Minnesota played terribly in that game 1, but this was, you never know. I mean, Curry at his age, this might be his last chance. This might have been his last chance to go to a conference finals, NBA finals. So hopefully that's not the case, just because I think everyone sort of likes him, enjoys watching him play basketball. It's hard if you're a basketball fan to not like Curry. I don't know too many people that don't like Curry or like watching him play. So just too bad from a fan standpoint that we won't have him here for the next few games. And you could say, all right, game 6, he'll be back. Just got to win one. From all the reports, he's still not shooting standing still. So hamstring strains are tricky. We'll kind of see here, what the prognosis is going forward.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll hope he's back for game 6 because that's more exciting for all of us. By the way, if you like betting the ponies, you can bet the Preakness Stakes with First Bet and get rewarded. New customers can use the promo code VSIN200 to score a 20% rebate on all wagers for your first 60 days. That's win or lose, you get paid back. Download the First Bet app or visit first.com/bet. Use the promo code VSIN200 to get started today.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.